I'm back in Scotland at the Edinburgh International Film Festival, and with me today is Marie Lidén. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Lidén, yeah.
Okay. And you're here with your documentary Electric Malady, and for our viewers who are not able to be here right now, can you tell me in your own words, just briefly, what it's about?
Yes, it's about a family who are going through an illness. Their son, William, is suffering from electrosensitivity. But it's more a film about how you as a family deal with an illness that's very controversial and not being believed.
Yeah. Your mother also suffered from this illness when you were just 8 years old.
Yeah.
Tell me about the journey from that point to the film.
Yeah, so my mum is well now. It's like it never happened. We actually don't really talk about it anymore. And but I was getting to the age where that my mother was when she developed electrosensitivity, and I started just thinking about it a lot, and thinking like, oh, maybe I should do something with this. And you know, I started looking for characters, and I placed an ad in this newspaper, and trying to speak to people with electrosensitivity. I was asking for stories and experiences, and then I was completely overwhelmed with response from people all over the Nordic countries. And then a few phone calls came in, and William's dad was one of these people. And I spoke to his dad a few times, and then went out to see William, and that's how I started.
Was it always about just William, or did the film change over the course of the development?
Well, from the beginning, it was actually going to be about my own story and the experience of an illness through a child's point of view. And then my mother was going to be in the film. But then throughout the years, it took a long time to make. We filmed with William for about 7 years. So from start to finish, I think it took about 10 years. And you know, we were exploring several characters as well. But then William's story just grew and grew, and I just felt like this family has so much love, and they're just really great characters, and so finally in the edit suite we decided that no, there's no room for my own story.
How did you plan the shooting? I mean, you had to bring electronic devices into William's isolated home.
Yeah.
That must have added a lot of responsibility to you.
Yeah, going into space, knowing that your physical presence in the room is harming your character is a huge responsibility, and very complicated. Like, complicates the filming process a lot. So I knew that this was going to be a problem. So you know, I went there to test equipment first, and then realized that we could use a very small DSLR camera, and also a hand cranked film camera, Bolex, with like a 16mm camera, and yeah, we were using like a directional mic, like keeping Sting as far away from him as possible, but still we had an effect on him, and sometimes he would have to recover for a whole day after. He was very, very exhausted after us being there. So yeah, it was hard.
Your cinematographer and your sound engineer did a brilliant job. And yesterday, the screening, you mentioned that there was some problems with the sound during the filming or during the editing. How did you manage to solve that?
Well, William Aikman did such a brilliant job, the sound designer. It's very hard filming someone who's completely covered in fabrics. And we had these mad ideas that we were exploring, trying to use long tubes and having microphones in there, which is very bad idea. And yeah, it was very muffled. It was very, you know, he had all the windows. He wanted to have all the windows open because it was very warm on the fabric, and you've got loud winds and birds chirping. You know, I'm not a sound recordist now, but you know, I didn't want to bring more people into William's place. So there was a lot of work in post trying to fix the sound, but you know, like I think if you're filming someone under fabrics, it can't be too clean either. Like it is a bit muffled. Yeah, also hard.
Have you ever thought what you would do if you were in William's shoes? I think that I wouldn't be able to live a life like this.
Yeah, I think that's what most people think when they see William, and he has been, like, as ill as he is now, under fabric for 8 years. But, you know, he started getting ill about 10 years ago, a bit more now. And yeah, you just think, like, I could never, ever go on like that. But then again, I guess human beings, like, are very resilient, and we never think that we are until we are in that situation. But also, I think one of the reasons why I just love this family so much is because they are so supportive, so loving, and you know that it's hard. You can see that it's really difficult for them, but they adapt, and they, you know, try to make the best for William, and they laugh, and they have so much fun. And I think, you know, to have that when you're ill is just a gift, you know. And I think they're a really good example of how you can support someone with an illness very little understood, and yeah, so such a loving family.
Indeed. You said earlier that your mother was cured after 10 years. How did that happen? Did it just disappear, or what did she do?
So she started the same process that William started now, which is to try to get rid of toxins like heavy metals in the system, enabling the body to, I guess, recover better. My mum had 19 mercury fillings, and you know, in some cases, like my mother's electrosensitivity came from a leaking mercury filling, and the same as in William's case. So, you know, like she started removing all these toxins, and then stayed away, like we lived without electricity for years. I mean, it's a very, now when you look back at that, it's a very strange childhood, and like everyone, no one wants to come to your house because your mom is really weird and you can't play video games. You know, I was at the peak of my Nintendo Prime, and then all of that is taken away from me, and you know, yeah, it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I think so. You were born in Sweden, and the film takes place in Sweden, but you're living in Scotland now.
Yes.
Yes. What made you want to move here?
I wanted to improve my English, but I wanted a strong accent. So I chose between Scotland and Northern Ireland, actually. But yeah, I immediately fell in love with Scotland. Like, I love Scottish people, their humour is very like similar to Swedish humour. I think it's a beautiful place. It's definitely my home.
Yeah, I'm a huge Scotland fan too. I'm covering the festival since 2015, and I fell in love with the country, with the people, with everything. Almost saw, I saw almost every part of this beautiful country. Do you have any favourite spots here in Scotland?
Yes. Well, my favourite, like, I live in Glasgow now, and I love I think it's such a vibrant and actually really incredible people. Obviously up north, I would say so many wonderful places up in the Highlands. You know, it's hard to pick a place. It's just, yeah.
Just everything is
Just
beautiful.
yeah, Scotland's such a beautiful country.
Indeed. So what about the future? Is there any new project you've started, or you can already talk about, or is it still in early stages?
I've got about 2 features maybe, and a series that I'm developing, but they are just babies. I'm not ready to put them out in the world just yet. The thought of embarking on another project, especially because this one took so long and took so much out of me, I feel a little bit overwhelmed by the thought of starting again, but I'm slowly getting there.
Wonderful. So there was a screening yesterday, and I think there's another one
On Thursday. 18th.
What are you expecting the people to walk away with from that screening?
I want people to not be so quick to judge, I think, and what you're seeing is not always, it's very, invisible illnesses are very complex, and I think as well, like, maybe appreciate freedom, and just try to be mindful of other people and try to listen to people, and try to understand.
I think you did that with that film. I've loved it, and I'm so glad that you were here to speak to me. Thank you very much for the interview. Good luck with the film, and enjoy the festival.
Yeah, I hope to see you soon, interviewing me for the next project.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.